Good evening, everyone. Jodas Welsh here, streaming from the northeast of England. We are continuing on with Skyrim Special Edition with a range of mods installed, mostly combat mods such as Wildcat and Vigor, mortal enemies. Also got things like Ordinator installed, and I am also, as of tonight, adding in 2 more mods, because I came to the realization, and this is the case because I am now at 100 for my two-handed combat and heavy armor. Block is in the high 80s, I think it's about 87. But once those skills are at 100, the only things that I'm effectively going to be leveling up is smithing, which is in the mid-70s itself, archery, and lockpicking, because I'm not a big magic user. Restoration would be getting XP, but I only obviously heal when I need to heal. So it's going to become likely that I'm going to I'm going to run into the problem of not actually leveling up anymore, which is going to be a real problem since, you know, I'm potentially going to take on enemies that are still going to be quite a high level. So I am thinking that I may have to consider using the legendary system, which is when you max a skill to 100, you can make it legendary, which puts it back down to 15. You are given the perk points back, to which you could decide, well, I'll keep a hold of them, and then if I get the skill back to 100, on the way to 100, I'll immediately put the perk points back in when available, rather than having to wait to level up and get a perk point. Or I could use those perk points into something that desperately needs them, such as smithing is in 72, but I do not have a single perk point in there at the moment because it's purely been concentrating in all of my combat and defense. Just going to rebuy a new horse.
Suppose so. Got one also. You've got a deal. It's the one with the saddle.
Because somehow my first version of this horse got killed in combat. I think I'm going to have to make use of weight if I'm going to go into beast form, because I am a werewolf now as well on this character as planned. But yes, I'm using a mod called Permanent Legendary Boost, because I've never really used it before, because I've never seen the benefit of boosting, like redoing a skill once you've already getting to 100. I mean, when it comes to perk points, I've always had something like use dragon souls to get perk points, but of course that's requiring dragons to spawn to fight and then use the souls to convert. As it is at the moment, I'm only meeting dragons every so often because I'm not that far ahead on the quest story. Just deal with the giant tundra spider. Yeah, so I've never really been into doing legendary with skills, because one, I don't really particularly want to go through the process of leveling up again, and therefore so missing out on the perk, and actually just missing out the perks in general. But and I've never also seen the benefit, because you know, other than, you know, yes, you level up some more, but I mean, other characters that use a wide variety of skills are already going to get high level anyway, because I'm leveling up everything. So I've never seen too much of the point with that. But for this character, I'm probably going to have to do it just simply because I need to be able to continue leveling up the character to, you know, a higher level anyway. Just so they can survive. Because I'm doing quite well now on 37 here. Yeah. I'm killing the wolves, but they're not actually attacking me. I forget that I'm a werewolf now. Well, I still have pelts anyway, so they're sacrifice for the greater good and all that. So I'm thinking I'm actually going to have to go legendary on, say, my two-handed in particular. I might do it for blocking, because there's another mod as well that might help me with this. But in order just to keep leveling up towards the classic cap of 81, then I'll have to probably redo a lot of my skills just so that there's an excuse to keep leveling. Now, with that, what this mod does is it adds a permanent boost to any skill that you choose to level up. So if I do decide to level up two-handed right now, then I'll actually get a permanent 5% boost to that. So it'll drop it down to 15, yes, but I'll actually get 5 points as a permanent bonus. So technically it'll be sitting on 20, and by the time I get it back up to 100, it'll actually sit on 110. Now the other reason why you'll do legendary is because you'll actually end up with more perk points than you get. So I'll get all of my perk points back for going legendary. But because I'm actually leveling up the skill again, and therefore I will level up at some point and get perk points because of that, I think you average out getting 3 more perk points as a result, so that you'll have more to spend with. But with permanent legendary bonus, I've got the added benefit of I will be getting a permanent bonus to whatever it is I upgrade. So in theory, if it gives me, if I get smithing to 100, and for some reason I want to try and get to 200 again, it's going to give me a boost, which means I could, in theory, actually make really, like, even better gear and weaponry, potentially. But I don't know if that's actually going to be worth it, given the amount of time it actually does take to smith stuff. But it's stuff like that that makes it more interesting. Now, the other mod that I've got installed is Duel. Sorry, it's a Draw, which is a dueling mod. And what that does is it gives you a challenge where you can then instigate a one-on-one challenge with an NPC. Where you can just simply duke it out, or you can actually have a fight to the death. And the only negative consequence is that with the individual NPC that you fight against. But what interests me actually is that with friendly NPCs and mostly your companions, you can actually spar. So there's no negative outcome for it. You just simply fight until one of you gets below. Excuse me. I think to 20%, and then the fight ends. But because it's treated as an actual fight, then you'll get full XP. So my line of thinking is that if I do decide to upgrade a combat skill or a defense skill to legendary and drop it down, that rather than relying on experience gained from trying to fight enemies in the game world, that I instead just use sparring with friendly NPCs to kind of boost it up along the way to a point where it's not going to, you know, put me in a hindrance, and I can put perks immediately back in that's going to help me out, and then maybe carry on from there. Because at least then, you know, I'm not relying on, you know, pure luck of dealing with enemies in the game world at a situation where I'm actually gimping myself. Well, I was expecting a full run through of a building there. That was the leader. He's dead already. Yeah. So I'm tempted to make use of friendly NPCs to help me build up skills, because I've got the training dummies, but they're set in such a way that you you don't like it. It's not the equivalent of getting experience with an actual enemy. So it probably makes more sense to do it with a human than a training dummy. So the training dummy is an option, but I figured that if I'm getting experience from a live person, then it makes it a bit more. Or I'll say it's less painful than using the combat dummy to level up again. So yeah, that seems to be the plan at the moment. Just I may end up going legendary on some skills. Oh, I got put down there. Despite the fact that I've just given myself a boost to damage resistance. Yeah, so that's going to be the thing. I some point might up my or redo two-handed, go legendary, just to make sure that I'm still leveling up. But as it is, I'm concentrating on werewolf mode at the moment because that was only acquired last night as well. So I still want to build up some perks. So suggests that this is clear. So this hasn't as been as many enemies as I thought, actually. I purposely slept 24 hours just to make sure that beast mode was an option, but got some random places here, see if there's any other things to hunt. We'll say this, but at least doing pretty good damage in werewolf form in comparison to what I would normally do with two-handed. I think I actually know where this place is, and I'm probably here a little bit too early in comparison to where I should be on the companion quest line, so I'll take these out on the outside, but I'll not bother going in. Because I believe later on in the quest line you come into here anyway. So I'll not risk the chance of breaking it. That wasn't registering damage I was doing to them, clearly. I was in front of them, though. I don't know what happened there. So I'll not bother going back up there, just simply because I'll be heading up there at some point anyway. Yeah, had to feed there because I needed to get some health back that was... I think he deserved that. Simply because he tried to burn me. Right, so clearly Fort Dunstad has respawned its enemies. Or at least the ones outside have respawned. Okay, apparently not the indoor was, not at least on this side anyway. Seems to be paused when it's trying to figure out what animation to play there. It's a bit annoying. And we've got another perk point to spend on. So do more physical protection. Yeah, actually survived the fall there. I was wondering, because there's usually two in here. Some fellow werewolves out. Hmm. So I'm not exactly taking damage at a godly rate, but probably wouldn't survive that in human form. But the damage is very respectable. I was on low health. I was hoping I might be able to have caught one and healed myself back up, but yeah. Vigilant Stendar has been destroyed. Looks like by vampires because I see the Death Hound on the floor.
What's the hurry?
I was not going to be the best knight for that courier.
Must gather our strength. Who knows what's inside?
Treasure, that's what. Get off your scaly rump and let's go. Ugh, we should be inside loading up on treasure. Worry Scales here thinks we should wait, though. Don't get any ideas either. We were here first. Gold? Silver? Gems, maybe? Only one way to find out. I don't care what Beam says. It's high time we get in there and find our fortune. Alright then.
Shouldn't you be freaking out by, like, the giant werewolf that's come over? The fact that he's talking as well, shouldn't that, like, raise alarm bells? Oh, there we are. That's there's that finished with. Right, so I'm gonna head back and this question. So. Christ, it's been one-shotted. Yeah, that's the other reason for making sure that I'm going to have to level up, because I still need to ensure that I'm going to end up picking up enough health. The stamina's at a good spot at the moment. I mean, I'm still running out on prolonged fights, but it's doing pretty good for itself at the moment. But it might actually get to the point where it's a case of I might start alternate between stamina and health. Just keep the stamina, obviously keep topping that up as such, but give the health a chance to catch up, and then maybe dip into the magic every so often as well. Just so there's a lot more health and stamina to do. I mean, the stamina is obviously helpful for the blocking because of the vigor combat mod, but there's still some enemies here. I think because of the way Wildcat does its damaging, that it's just burning through my entire stamina and then even burning through my health and one-shotting me, so to speak. So I really need to have more health in my pool just to survive some big hits. So may very well be the case that I do that sooner rather than later, just to ensure that I'm still leveling at a regular basis, because as I say, block's going to be finishing up soon. I can't rely on smithing forever as well, because that's getting into the high 70s, and there's only archery really. I don't know. It's good. I've just got to just keep going through, just do stuff really, and go from there. Like, it's a bit easier on my other warrior. My other warrior does use everything, magic and all sorts, because you know the whole point of that is just to make the gameplay insane.
I was the newest companion until you came along. I guess that's okay. Just means I can show you the ropes.
I never thought they would actually let me join the companions. But now it looks like they're letting anyone in these days.
Might head down to the meadery later.
Have you been bringing the battle to the Silver Hand, friend? I wish I could be there with you. Soon enough. Excellent. Looks like you've really driven them into hiding. Keep this up. We'll wipe them out yet. Good that you're so eager. I've caught wind that one of the brighter Silver Hand has been sniffing around the rift. If you can sneak into their camp and steal his plans, we'll have the advantage.
question. I know I...
Chops and steaks.
You're the best. Can you be my father?
Not quite yet, kid. At this rate, I might as well open up Riften anyway. Right, so if I'm heading towards Riften, the route I will take is through Rokstead, Helgen, and then head east. You're pretty much straight over. They leave me alone now.
You really think I can be a blacksmith someday, Papa? As good as Yorl and Greymane?
Well, that was kind of a weak sauce challenge, guys. Considering the damage that you've done to me in the past here, And I wouldn't call myself OP in the slightest. Managed to stumble myself into a bit of a war between goblins and, well, goblin factions. Nothing wrong with they're all goblins, just I think it's two different types of faction. But yeah, they all got wiped out in the end. Still war in here. Just a fleet of bears just decided they wanted to have a go. Oh well, thanks for the pelts, dumbass.
Think you can take me?
Now that's the eventual armor that I usually go for on this character when they go full Imperial, because it's a badass set, that must be said.
Someone do something.
How was that happy horse shit? And a cave bear just snuck up behind to try and have a go. Fair enough. Right. More bears.
Hold and stand down. If you want to get into Riften, use the north gate. This one's closed. My orders are to tell the riffraff to use the north gate. That's it. No. You can use the north gate, or you can head to the next city. Hold there. Before I let you into Riften, you need to pay the visitor's tax. For the privilege of entering the city. What does it matter? All right, keep your voice down. You want everyone to hear you? I'll let you in. Just let me unlock the gate.
It always seems to work, even if you're on low speech.
Fine. If you won't listen to me, I'll find someone who will.
What do you need? Thieves Guild.
Careful, Bill. The Thieves Guild has Maven Blackbriar at its back.
I don't know you. You in Riften looking for trouble?
End up in Riften jail. Worse.
They represent the reason I'm here.
Don't say something you'll regret. Last thing the Blackbriars need is some loudmouth trying to meddle in their affairs.
Good thing that's happened to this city in a long
The Blackbriars have Riften in their pocket, and the Thieves Guild watching their back. So keep your nose out of their business. Me? I'm Maul. I watch the streets for them. If you need dirt on anything, I'm your guy. But it'll cost you. Then we're speaking the same language. Good. So what do you want to know? Well, you got Maven. She pretty much runs the whole operation. She's got friends in high places, if you know what I mean. She's also got ties to the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild, so basically, no one can touch her. Just remember, if she tells you to do something, you damn well better do exactly what she says. You kidding? My brother Dirge works in their hideout. I used to run with them myself, but took a job with Maven after they started hitting a rough patch. If you want to get in on that action, find Brynjolf in the marketplace. I'm sure he could use someone like you. The only thing I heard is a rumor that a boy named Aventus Aretino in Windhelm has been attempting to contact the Dark Brotherhood. He used to live here in Riften at the orphanage on the other side of town, but I think he ran away. Can't say I blame him. Be seeing you around.
I'm really getting tired of your
That old fella with the voice that we heard, actually. That's the one that starts Falkstar. It wasn't Falkreath.
Have our scouts come up with any information on these reports of dragons?
Yes. That unpleasant Hogan supposedly involved a dragon. Did we have an appointment? No. It was a delivery?
To speak to the
As Jarl Layla's housecarl, I would ask that you maintain a respectable distance from her at all times.
Yes, my lady. I've also taken the liberty in preparing a private carriage, just in case.
Good. If Riften should fall, it's only right that its leader be spared. Welcome to Riften, traveler. I hope the road fared well for you. While I feel Ulfric's cause is just, my concern is for the people of the Rift. How can they continue to lead their already meager lives with dark clouds looming overhead? My heart goes out to them. If only our coffers were deeper, I could protect them as they were my own family. With the Stormcloaks at his back, Ulfric's poised to rid Skyrim of the Empire's forces and invalidate our involvement with the White Gold Concordat. Many have died taking up arms for this cause. I fear that the land will be stained with blood for years to come. Surely you're aware of the Great War between the Imperials and the Elves who called themselves the Aldmeri Dominion? When the smoke cleared, the White Gold Concordat was signed. It was supposedly a treaty aimed at establishing peace within the Empire. One of the terms of the treaty was the outlawing of worship to Talos. To the Stormcloaks, this was viewed as the moment when the Empire became unworthy of the allegiance of any true Nord. We're all eager to see them brought to justice. Maven Blackbriar has assured me that they're being dealt with appropriately. As one of our city's most influential citizens, she's taken it upon herself to oversee their incarceration. Sadly, they're proving elusive, but I have confidence that Maven won't give up until this city has been rid of them all. Good journey to you.
Oh, come to gloat, have we? To poke fun at the Jarl's youngest son?
Welcome to Mistvale Keep. I'm Jarl Layla's steward, Anuriel. The Jarl has put out a bounty on some bandits. Here, take a look at this decree for details. You're welcome in Riften, as long as you continue to obey our laws.
Indeed. There have been multiple attempts on the Jarl's life. We're not certain if it's the Dark Brotherhood or simply Imperial sympathizers. We've also had run-ins with spies attempting to probe our security for weaknesses. I work with the city guard to make certain they fail. At the end of the day, I'm the last line of defense for the Jarl. I will not allow her to fall. Ulfric's a bloody hero. I don't think there's a worthy Nord alive who dare argue the point. He's taking the Empire to task and making them answer for their crimes. I don't think I'll be content until Ulfric sits upon the throne of Skyrim with the ashes of the Concordat at his feet. I'm keeping my eye on you.
Did we have an appointment? No. It was a delivery? I can't
Did you
remember.
have some sort of official
Excuse
business
my
here?
disorganization, but I'm in the middle of some delicate experiments. Someone actually interested in what I'm doing. Amazing! Well, allow me to explain. My experimentation involves a magical construct and a reagent that will allow the construct to maintain a field of permanent harmonic energy. You don't have to, because it's utter nonsense. It's never going to work. No. What I need to do is reverse that. draw the harmonic energy into the reagent, and then apply it with the proper incantation. What was I thinking? It would never work that first way. Why didn't you tell me? I'll tell you why you won't tell me. Because you were absolutely right not to. It's a fundamental rule of magic, and it would be ridiculous. You can't draw from harmonic energy without a soul siphon. Since you're so well informed, I'm certain you've solved the problem with thermic drift, right? Are you completely insane? Swallow a soul gem? That has to be the most brilliant and unexpected solution I've heard in a long time. It solves all of my problems and keeps the field stable. Now all I need... Wait, what were we talking about? Okay. Now where did I put those spiders?
Yeah, that woman's not quite right.
Take my advice. Don't listen to that talk of the face sculptor down in the Racket Flagon. Face Butcher is more like it from what I've heard.
Yeah, that would be the woman. I think allows you to go back to the race menu for your character and make alterations. Oh, it got me stuck in the bloody geometry again. I couldn't move, block, or anything there. Ah, I was doing so well. Jeez, how much damage is he piping out?
Yes?
Magic fortified. That's probably what's doing it. Yeah, so yeah, I've noticed weapons that have got the label of magic fortified just do stupid damage, and that seems to what knocks me up more than anything. Is the troll you care not for werewolves? No, is that the idea? Bloody Spriggans. Right, I'm going to assume that was a soul gem that was piping out that ice blast. Because I didn't see an enemy. Yes, it was. Let's crash the game. 1 second. It knew to spin it that way. Wow, that's just... It's got to be one of them fights, isn't it? Running out of healing potions here. Where's all my healing potions gone? That's the thing. One bite and he takes me out. Oh, got him. It's not a word that I'm probably going to be using, but yeah. Dragon Soul acquired. That's a perk point I can spend somewhere.
Never should have come here.
No, figured there was a mage there.
Never should have come here.
It's got a full set of... You know, I'm gonna just take the full set to break down on the off chance that my improved smithing score might be enough to upgrade the armor that I'm currently wearing as well. See if that's the case. Otherwise, I'm going to deal with this bounty and drop that off at Rift, and then I've got 2 bounties to collect. There's the dragon one and this regular bandit one, and then I'm going to head back to Whiterun for the companions. Assassin shows up, I remove Assassin's head. We're having a go at something at least, anyway.
Need something?
Something from me?
Yeah, I'm looking for a bandit. Apparently there's a one here.
Yes?
Has he already been dealt with? Okay.
Yes? Need something?
No more. I yield. I yield. What?
I'm going to assume that that wasn't meant to happen. That the bounty shouldn't have been applied to a guard. Anyway, right. It has been dealt with, so... Let's just fast travel there and back.
Welcome to Mistvale Keep. I'm Jarl Layla's steward, Anuriel. Excellent. You've done us a great service. Here is your reward. Excellent. You've done us a great service. Here is your reward. You're welcome in Riften, as long as you continue to obey our laws.
I can indeed. Excellent. Right, so slight improvement on the armor.
Have you been bringing the battle to the Silver Hand, friend? I wish... Perfect. Hopefully this will let us know more about their movement. I think we've got them on the run. And there is more work to be done, but I fear that Kodlak's gotten wind of our recent efforts. He's asked to see you. My advice, always be honest with the old man, but don't tell him anything he doesn't need to know.
But it can be harder to balance a strike.
I guess that comes down to footwork.
Thank you for coming. Yes, youngling. Have a seat. I hear you've been busy of late. Your hearts are full of grief, and my own weeps at the loss of Skjor. But his death was avenged long ago. You have taken more lives than honor demanded. The cycle of retaliation may continue for some time. In any case, I have a task for you. Have you heard the story of how we came to be werewolves? Aye, that sounds like it. As in all matters of faith, though, the reality is more complicated than one believer would tell you. The companions are nearly 5,000 years old. This matter of beast blood has only troubled us for a few hundred. One of my predecessors was a good but short-sighted man. He made a bargain with the witches of Glenmoral Coven. If the companions would hunt in the name of their lord Hircine, we would be granted great power. They did not believe the change would be permanent. The witches offered payment, like anyone else. But we had been deceived. The witches didn't lie, of course, but it's more than our bodies. The disease, you see, affects not just our bodies. It seeps into the spirit. Upon death, werewolves are claimed by Hircine for his hunting grounds. For some, this is a paradise. They want nothing more than to chase prey with their master for eternity. And that is their choice. But I am still a true Nord, and I wish for Sovngarde as my spirit home. That's what I've spent my twilight years trying to find out. And now I've found the answer. The witch's magic ensnared us, and only their magic can release us. They won't give it willingly, but we can extract their foul powers by force. I want you to seek them out. Go to their coven in the wilderness. Strike them down as a true warrior of the wild. And bring me their heads, the seat of their abilities. From there, we may begin to undo centuries of impurity. You shall have no shield, brother, this time. But the spirit of Ysgramor goes with you to restore the honor of his legacy. Talos guide you, lad.
So we're doing a favour for Koldak. So this is how you would also normally go about curing yourself. As long as you wipe... I mean, you only need to wipe out one in order to save Koldak. But if you want to queue yourself, and I think some members of the companions also request to be queued, then you need the rest of the heads as well to make that happen. So it's easy just to wipe them all out and bring all the heads back and just keep them in storage. And then you should have enough to cover for yourself and anyone that anyone else that wants queuing. But I'll not be going for the queue myself, because I actually prefer this character to remain Werewolf for the entirety of his existence. My other warrior would get rid of it, because not his thing, since he's meant to be more like Thor anyway. Okay, I think to get to that cave, take that road, then that side path. Right, not quite there. Thing is, I've got the stagger turned off, and yet it just locks me down when I get hit. Hell, I didn't even recognize I was pressing block there. The f... Oh, she must have one of those magically empowered daggers, because, yeah, should not be piping out that damage in comparison to everyone else. I think she has to die first. Yeah, let me get past, mate. Yeah, that was a little bit bullshitty, that. So yeah, so one head is enough, technically, but we might as well get the whole lot. You get the T-pose, well, sometimes when you, yeah, remove their head. Two more to go. Alright, just one more of these to go, I believe. Yeah, just through here.
You belong to that scene now.
You were saying something? So the message about the moon there is from Moonlight Tales. It's part of the mod that tweaks or improves, however you want to look at it, the werewolf system. One of those features is if classic werewolf thing, of course, if it's a full moon, I've got no say in the matter. I am going to turn. Mouse is going all over there a moment. There's just something got caught in the sensor.
These two aren't a problem anymore. These two aren't a problem anymore.
The Silver Hand. They finally had the nerve to attack your vassal. We got most of them, but I think a few stragglers made it out.
These two aren't a problem anymore.
Where have you been? I hope it was important, because it means you weren't here to defend him. The Silver Hand. They finally found enough courage to attack your Vasker. We fought them off, but the old man, Godlak, he's dead. No, but they made off with all our fragments of Wuthrad. But you and I are going to reclaim them. We will bring the battle to their chief camp. There will be none left living to tell their stories. Only songs of your Vasker will be sung. We will avenge Godlak, and they will know terror before the end.
Well, that's a random bandit. That's not the Silver Hand. But whatever, so Kaldak was killed in the fight.
Don't leave any of them alive. Don't leave any of them alive.
Suddenly wearing a helmet. Spawn him a horse. Left him standing, I think. Revenge then.
You won't live to see tomorrow.
Well, they flew. Okay. General survivability is getting there. Juggernaut's probably one of the remainder bits. One of them decided he was going to have second thoughts. Tough. Well, get out the way, Victus. I managed to get past the trap without either of us bringing it. Yes, they were all wiped out. I could get the Imperial Knight early, but well, I don't have the skills to improve it. That's the trouble.
Let's get back to Jorvaskr. We'll want to pay our respects to Kodlak's spirit.
Now, since I'm here and I'm still in wolf form, gonna fast travel back because
The others have probably prepared Kodlak's funeral by now. Come. The others have probably prepared Kodlak's funeral by now. Come up to the Sky Forge to pay your respects.
Do you hunt? The plains outside Whiterun are right.
Need something?
I'm
just out and about, love. The banished mare can do without me for a bit, missus.
Who will start?
I'll do it. Before the ancient flame,
We grieve.
we
We
grieve.
grieve.
At this loss,
We weep.
we weep. For the fallen,
We
We
shout.
shout. And for ourselves, we take our
Take
leave.
our leave. His spirit is departed. Members of the Circle, let us withdraw to the Underforge to grieve our last together.
do you have the fragments of Ruthrad still? I'll need to prepare them for mounting again. Careful with those. Don't want even more fragments, do we? Of course, I have a small favor to ask of you. There's another piece that Kadlak always kept close to himself. Would you go to his chambers and bring it back for me? I'm not sure I'm the best one to go through his things. I appreciate it.
That was the funeral of Koldak Whitebeam. Right, so there you go. Actually, I'll take that with me. So, reading Kordak's journal opens up the fact that he wanted the player character to succeed him as Harbinger. That seems to be the case with all of the guilds in this game. You start out as the whelp, as it were, and then you ascend to be the leader of it all.
You're back. Thank you. Your shield siblings have withdrawn to the Underforge. I think they're waiting for you.
The old man had one wish before he died. He didn't get it. It's as simple as that.
Being Moonborn is not so much of a curse as you might think, Vilcus.
That's fine for you. But he wanted to be clean. He wanted to meet Iskramor and know the glories of Sovngarde. But all that was taken from him.
And you avenged him.
Kodlak did not care for vengeance. No, Farkas, he didn't. And that's not what this is about. We should be honoring Kodlak, no matter our own thoughts on the blood.
You're right. It's what he wanted, and he deserved to have it.
Kodlak used to speak of a way to cleanse his soul, even in death. You know the legends of the tomb of Iskramor.
There, the souls of the Harbingers will heed the call of Northern Steel. We can't even enter the tomb without Wuthrad, and it's in pieces like it has been for 1,000 years.
Dragons were just stories, and the elves once ruled Skyrim. Just because something is, doesn't mean it must be. The blade is a weapon, a tool. Tools are meant to be broken and repaired.
Is that... Did you repair the blade?
This is the first time I've had all the pieces, thanks to our shield brother here. The flames of Hero can reforge the shattered. The flames of Kodlak shall fuel the rebirth of Wuthrad, and now it will take you to meet him once more. As the one who bore the fragments, I think you should be the one to carry Wuthrad into battle. The rest of you, prepare to journey to the tomb of Iskramor for Kodlak.
So it is slightly more powerful, but it will do 20% more damage against elves. Fuck it, let's use it.
Kodlak!
Right. I'm just going to do a full save there. I'm going to call it a night because it's past midnight and Tinus Burns kicked in. So I think we're at the end of what you think. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I am tired. So it looks like we're on to the end of what is the main quest line for the companions. As I suspect from the notes of Koldak's journal, I believe some of the members will be looking for a cure, so I might go ahead and do that for them. I'm going to stick with the werewolf though, but it means that we're pretty much towards the end of the quest line, and means that opens up the game again for me to carry on with whatever. Not sure what to do next. Might do the main quest line actually, just to try and progress that and cause the dragons to spawn more, just for the sake of, you know, I need their souls for perk points and whatnot. And I might, when I'm next on, which will be tomorrow night, to redo two-handed, go through legendary and build that up again, just for the sake of just trying to get levels again, because I clearly need the health to back up the stamina now. So I might actually just do a burst of just nothing but health, just to try and make it all match, and then I'm not likely to be one-shotted by anything, as being still the case with a few things tonight. Either that or actually go to the various halls and just open them up and just start doing stuff there for folks. We'll see how it goes anyway. So, but yeah, I appreciate anyone that's been watching in. Check out obviously the previous broadcasts of the stream on the channel. Permanent archives are kept on my YouTube page. That's also got linked on my channel page here. If you wish to become a patron of the channel and the YouTube archive as well, there's a link to LibrePay. Would appreciate obviously any help on building this in the future. Otherwise, I should be on tomorrow night, hopefully without, again, any distractions like again this evening. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything in the way tomorrow night, so I should be on no later than 7:30, 8 o'clock at the absolute latest. So hopefully I'll get on for about 7:30 UK time, and we'll finish off the companion storyline, go on from there. So again, appreciate you being watching in, and I will catch you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching.